Hey guys, so this is Sweet Cheeks. Thanks for watching this video, by the way. So guys, basically what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be just talking in this video just about, how things used to be when I was growing up and, versus, the way stuff is today. So guys, basically today, I find that like I don't even want to start with today. I'm going to start back with like when I was growing up. So guys, I was born in the early 90s. And as I was growing up in the 90s, I basically saw shows like, Rugrats and Doug and stuff. I'm trying to think of what else I was watching. Man, it's been like a long time. Oh yeah, Hey Arnold, oh goodness, what else? It's like the names of the cartoons. Is it like I'm just trying to think of them. But anyway, I can't remember those things. But I remember also watching like Disney Channel when Disney Channel had like those movies and stuff when they have like they show different kids movies and stuff like that or whatever and stuff. I know like they had on Disney Channel it was like Lizzie McGuire and stuff like that was on there and stuff. From what I remember, there were some other shows. I think when I was growing up too, I think Boy Meets World was like 80s, but they did kind of rerun it and stuff like that in the 90s. Like guys, the just things on TV like back during that time. I mean, it was really, stuff on TV was good. The cartoons were cool. Even like the shows, during that time when I was growing up, it was family centered. You saw, the characters and they were a part of a family. Some shows like Seventh Heaven, it had like a Christian theme to them. I remember watching shows like Family Matters and stuff like that. Um, and I think there were some other shows too that were, family oriented and stuff like that. I think Moesha was on too, I think. I don't remember just sitting watching that, but I know they reran some of those like different series and stuff like that that was on. But, stuff on TV was good. I mean, the messages of the shows were good. You saw the characters develop and stuff. I remember seeing, Fresh Prince of Bel Air and stuff on there on TV and stuff. And I mean, the TV was good. The message and things were good and stuff. There was no stuff on TV that was bad and stuff like that. I mean, as a kid, I didn't spend my time looking at stuff like the news all the time. I just spent my time, like most kids, on, Saturday morning, getting up and watching the cartoons. I mean, every kid did that. It's kind of like a Saturday morning ritual for a lot of kids. You get up in the morning on Saturdays, you try to get up as early as you can so you catch the cartoons and watch the WB and all that. And, it was really cool, growing up, 90s, in the 2000s, it was pretty cool, watching TV and stuff. And it was not really that bad, it wasn't. I mean, it was great because during the 90s and, 2000s and stuff, early 2000s, I mean, you could express yourself as who you wanted to be. There was no pressure for you to grow up or any of this bullshit out today. I mean, you could just really be yourself, you know. Um, I mean, there wasn't a lot of emphasis on, the stuff that's out here today that's on kids and stuff. And as I said, like on TV, like it's family oriented. I mean, and also, me as a kid, I was a part of a family. And I knew that, I had my mom, my dad, and my siblings. I knew that, I was part of a family and I knew I had a role in the family, and so, I was comfortable with that. And I knew, my cousins and aunts and uncles. And, I mean, I had relationships with, other people in my family. And, I had friends and stuff. And during that time, it was good and stuff. I mean, it was awesome. And a lot of other kids had that same interaction. Now I'm not going to say like when I was going to school that, kids didn't, you didn't get talked about. I mean, everybody got talked about and stuff, but people were not pushed to the edge that they are today, where kids are trying to kill themselves because other kids don't like them. You just kind of just yeah, people talked about you, but you just kind of, kept stuff moving as a kid. You know what I'm saying? You just, went to class and studied and stuff. But the bullying back then was not as bad as it is now. I mean, back then too. And there, as I was growing up as a kid and stuff too. I mean, I'm just gonna say, I mean, the music was cool. The messages of the music was awesome. I mean, the music was, I remember names of, musical artists, Aaliyah, TLC, Usher, I remember Britney Spears. I remember hearing her and Sync. Trying to think of something. I think I'm thinking New Edition, but I don't know. Um, I mean, those are just some names that, pop into my head in my childhood and stuff. Maya, she was out and everything, Snoop Dogg, I remember him doing some things and stuff. I mean, back then, music it was a form of expression for people that they really used, and there's positive messages in the music, and it wasn't about the girls just being on the music video shaking their ass. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't all about that or just about rap. I mean, yeah, you had rap and stuff, but the rap was actually about, it was actually about something. It was actually about, you know, life and things that happen to people. I mean, you had girls who were, hip hop and rap artists and stuff or whatever, and you had, singers, girls in R&B, guys in R&B, you had singers also like, India Irie, you know what I'm saying? And, I mean, oh yeah, I can't forget Missy. I gotta remember Missy. Missy definitely had, Missy Elliott. She definitely had, you know, definitely everybody was just consumed with Missy, you know what I'm saying? And what was going on with her. But, I mean, as a kid growing up, I mean, there was a lot of positive things that I saw in music and TV and stuff like that. And, it was good. And, when I was watching TV or listening to music, I saw myself in the music, or in the TV shows and stuff like that. And the characters, they didn't have this big need to rush and grow up. They were just regular. I mean, if you turn on the TV, you can identify a character that you identify with. You know what I'm saying? It seemed fine. And, you know, I didn't see any bad stuff in the world. I mean, I didn't notice that there was bad in the world until like, September 11th and stuff. And I think I was in like, I think I was in fifth grade, fourth, fifth grade during that time. And that's when I, saw that there was, terrorism or whatever and stuff with the Twin Towers and stuff. That's when I saw that. But, other than that, I didn't see anything back before then, that was bad. I mean, yeah, you see on TV, you see Jerry Springer and Maury and stuff or whatever. But, I mean, those things weren't bad. It's just TV, you know what I'm saying? But, the world back then, I mean, as a kid, there is a lot more promise. There is a lot more things that you could really look forward to and, enjoy and stuff. And, your friendships actually lasted. It was, I mean, it was great, lasting. You know what I'm saying? And, I mean, something that I can't really understand, which is occurs today, is just like how now stuff isn't like the stuff on TV, the music or anything. I mean, it's just not what it used to be. The music and the TV shows out today, it's just like what? I mean, what is the stuff that's out today? I mean, you may luck up on hearing one song that you like or something like that, But it's not like the songs that it used to be like in the 90s and early 2000s. Those songs, those songs were just awesome. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to think of that term for what you say. What you say? Damn. What do you call it? Damn. I forgot. But those songs were hot. They were cool. People was listening to them and stuff, and it was good. There was, you know, people were filled with a lot of promise and feeling as though they can do and accomplish things and stuff. Even with the TV shows too. I mean, you you could develop along with a character. I mean, it's for kid shows, teenage shows, adult shows, and I mean, it wasn't necessarily spread out because when you came in contact with a show, like say Family Matters or something, there was characters of different ages in the story, and they were growing up in the series, and so that wasn't too big of a problem. I mean, it was just easier. I mean, if you were sitting down with your family and was watching something, everybody could identify with a character that was on a TV show. And so, that was good. And that's what brought people together as a family. I mean, these days, people don't even spend time with their families. You know what I'm saying? You don't have the mom, the dad, and the kids sitting down watching the same thing. I mean, if anything now, families are broken. You know what I'm saying? You may have a mom with kids or something, the dad is gone or whatever. Or, you may have a dad and he's got the kids, and the mom, she's gone. I mean, just the way families are today, I mean, there is no necessary family structure. I mean, unless, people in your family have fought to keep the, integrity of your family where everybody's connected and part of the family and they know they have a role, then you have that, luxury. But, a lot of families out here, I mean, it's not what it used to be. I mean, there's a lot of families where kids are they basically don't have the same father as their other siblings or whatever have and stuff, or rather each kid in the family has a different father or something like that. And way back in the 90s, that wouldn't have been the case. The mother and the father, you know they would have came together to make all the children, so that wouldn't have been an issue. You know what I'm saying? um and I noticed when I was growing up that the mother and the fathers were married. They weren't baby mamas or baby daddies. It wasn't any of that shit. You know what I'm saying? It was the mother and the father were married, and they both had a common goal with raising their kids and stuff like that. Um, and I'm not trying to talk down on people who gonna say, well, I'm a baby mama, I'm a baby daddy, or whatever. I'm not gonna talk down on that or whatever. I mean, you got your own situation for what you in, but I'm just saying, like, when I was growing up, I mean, I was glad to see that, the mothers and fathers who had kids, they were married because they were committed to each other. They weren't cheating on each other or doing any of this stuff that people do these days. I mean, there's so many people who are confused about, you know they confused about about relationships and stuff like that. And I mean, that's messed up in my opinion. I mean, I think if people got back to their roots of things, like with marriage and how marriage used to be, and how you had a relationship where the the woman and the man, when they came together, they wanted to have a strong lasting relationship and stuff. And it wasn't about just having a one night stand. It was about establishing a connection with each other. Now, I was growing up, maybe the thing about that was because you know maybe it was because you know people back then, maybe it's because people grew up together. So if you was in a relationship with somebody, you would have known somebody since you was in kindergarten or something. So maybe that would answer the question about why people had those types of relationships and stuff. But I guess these days people's morals have changed and preferences have changed and stuff like that. But I mean, I think that back in the '90s, I think that that was like '90s to early 2000s. I think that was a great time. It was a great time to be young. It was a great time to, to just be alive and be a part of things and stuff like that, because things were more pure. They were more, you know, people were more connected. People talked more. It wasn't this obsession with, Facebook or YouTube, because that didn't exist. You know what I'm saying? There was things where people actually picked up the phone and talked to each other. You know what I'm saying? And fashion wasn't the only thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, there was fashion that, girls and guys wore and everything. But, you know what I'm saying? That didn't consume people. Being narcissistic didn't consume people. Yeah, people still, they bought stuff. Of course they did. But just the overall mood of the way people used to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, people was more connected. People were more friendly, you know, and, when somebody came over your house, you was happy to see them, you know. I mean, it's not like the way people are today when somebody comes over your house and you're not happy to see them. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think it was so funny. It was this thing on YouTube, and this guy was talking about this comedian. I don't know if I think he was a white guy, I think, and he was talking about how a long time ago when somebody would knock on the door, everybody in the house would gather up to the door to see who it was, and then when the person came to the door, people would be they would be happy to see the person once they walked to the door and stuff. You know what I'm saying? They would be really happy, you know. Um, but now with people these days, everybody's not happy to see the person that's coming, to see them and stuff. And everybody in the house doesn't gather. I mean, there's not a lot of people at the house, that or there to welcome somebody. I mean, I think, you know, comparing, the 90s to 2017, I would say, like, 2017, I would say, it's just 2017 is, maybe 2017 is over yet, but 2016, 2017, it's the world now is just scary. It is scary. People getting killed unnecessarily for what? I mean, people just trying to be people. Way back in the 90s, there wasn't any of that. There was no killing of children. There was none of that. Kids could actually enjoy being kids. They can go outside, walk down the street or whatever. And, it wasn't the threat of people losing their lives, back then. There wasn't any of that. You know what I'm saying? Not from my perspective. I mean, I remember, I'd walk down to my friend's house or something, and, I wouldn't have a problem, with going to see my friends and stuff. And the kids stayed out until the street lights came on, and then you knew you had to get your ass home, because that's when, your curfew was. But, all the kids came home, and, they sat down with their families at dinner and talked about, what happened during their day and stuff like that. And, I miss that. I miss seeing people being more open, being more connected, being happy to see each other. I really miss that, because these days, people are not connected like that. Even in families, you got people who don't even want to talk to each other. And, that's messed up. It just is. I mean, just thinking about the 90s and, my childhood and what I grew up in and how happy I was, to see the world and how the world was and stuff, and the people that were there, and, just the experience of growing up, and enjoying being a child and enjoying being young and stuff. I mean, that was the most beautiful and awesome experience that I had and stuff like that. I'm not going to say everything was perfect in my childhood, but, there was so much promise and opportunity, in the 90s and early 2000s. That was really, something that, just was possible. But now, things are just, so just unreal. I mean, there's reality shows that are fake, you know, um, and I mean, there's, people looking at the news and, just all this stuff on the news about people getting killed every day, every hour on the day, men, women, children getting killed. And if that's not depressing enough, it's on Facebook too. You know what I'm saying? Facebook is something too where, yeah, it's great to connect with people, but Facebook is not that cool because there's a lot of people who are getting impressioned by Facebook and doing things that they really don't want to do, following trends like other people. I mean, I'm not trying to speak badly about people on Facebook, but there's a lot of girls on Facebook who they would just want to have a baby because their friend had a baby. You know what I'm saying? And so, I mean, it's funny how impressioned people are. You know, it just is. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, guys. So, my phone's getting hot, so I gotta try to cool it down and stuff. But just that's just my thoughts right now. I would just say that the '90s was a lot better, in my opinion, than the times right now with the 2015, 16, and 17. The way the world is just not a safe place. I would say the '90s was a lot better. You know what I'm saying, guys? But thank you guys for watching this video. Feel free to comment on this video and stuff, whatever. Tell me what you think, and tell me about your what your experience is like growing up or whatever and stuff like that. But thank you guys for watching this video. Bye bye, and see you later.